And David actually just got home with the new addition to the farm. Good morning. You wave? Oh, yeah, there you go. Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Stagger Family Farms. I am excited because we have a package waiting outside that I'll bring in here in a little bit. But we are going to start off our morning by making up some sourdough bread. Well, getting the dough started, and we'll bake it tomorrow. So that's what Charlotte and I are going to do while Shelby's still sleeping. What are you doing, Charlotte? Are you going to go after it? Go after it. And you can sit over here. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna say good morning.
Good morning.
Are you gonna want to play in the bran? No? Okay. Do you want to play in the bran, Charlotte? Here? Yeah? Sourdough bread, 125 grams. Okay.
Charlotte, just dumping it on the stove.
It'll be okay.
Why?
Alright, call that 125. I really need to buy a digital scale because this is like not so accurate. Do you want to help me scoop?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna scoot you this much. I'm gonna recalibrate. There. You already did it, huh?
I did.
Okay. Here you go.
I'm scared.
Oh, okay. Now don't touch that part and just add flour. We need 375 grams. It's gonna be a lot of scoops. You don't have to level it off. Good job. Keep going.
One more.
One more.
A really big one.
Not too big. You're getting pretty close. Maybe take a little of that off. Okay.
Right there.
Oh, yeah. You're good. Okay. I think that'll do. Thank you, Shelby.
Can we leave this in there?
Sure.
22, 5 grams.
I was definitely supposed to mix these flours first, but it'll be okay.
700 years ago. I am Manuel.
He's Emmanuel. Is that Jesus?
Bethlehem. It's like Bethlehem book.
Yeah. It looks just like it says in the book, huh?
Yeah.
And in the Bible too. Yeah.
Oh.
Now we're gonna let that sit for about an hour or so while I make breakfast for the girls, and maybe we'll open that package. So this is the autolays. It just lets the flour absorb the water. And it looks a little bit wet. I think my scale is broken. So I was just more so eyeballing it than anything else. So after we let it autolays, I'll add the sourdough starter. And if it looks a little runny, I'll go ahead and add a flour. Because my biggest fail when I'm making sourdough bread is I always make it too wet. And then so it like sticks to the towels when you're trying to do the overnight rides, and it flops and just like turns into a puddle sometimes. So we gotta add more flour if it's still running later. That way you can have a nice loaf.
Just use a plate to go over it.
We are gonna put a plate over it. And this is my favorite trick. I saw Ballerina Farms do this with her sourdough stuff, and she just uses a plate, and then you're not wasting plastic wrap all the time and the plastic wrap is just always in the way. So just throw a plate over it. It works great. And Charlotte's been having fun.
Can I talk to it? Can I talk to it?
Okay, go Shelby.
Can't you make the sourdough bread? It's out flour, water, salt, pepper.
No pepper, just salt.
Salt and sourdough starter.
Yeah.
Sourdough starter, and
Then we bake it after it does all of its stretching and folding and rising.
yeah.
Yeah. Does it taste good?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and we are gonna have some yogurt for breakfast. This is homemade yogurt we make in our Instant Pot, and it looks like these are the last 2 jars. So we are actually gonna get another batch of yogurt started together.
Talk to it.
Okay, so for yogurt, I always make sure my pot is really, really clean. So I'm gonna wash this even though it is clean. And the reason why I do that is you don't want any leftover smells or anything like that from whatever you made last. Usually it's rice or something getting into your yogurt, because you don't want your yogurt to taste like beef. That would just be awful, because I cook my rice in beef broth and stuff. So I'm gonna clean this, and then we just pour the milk in. And what I do is I saute it for 20 minutes on there. Some people, when they press the yogurt button, it's supposed to have like a boil function. But if you saute it for 20 minutes with cold milk, it's the perfect temperature, and then you just let it cool down again, add your starter culture, and you set it for making yogurt.
To it.
Yeah.
To the.
Hold on, you're not holding it, okay? And then you just fill it up to that little mark right there. Charlotte. Okay, the timer just went off for the yogurt, so I gave it a couple stirs while it was sauteing, and so now I just take it out of here so it cools down a little faster and let it sit for like 2 hours so it can come back down to temperature, and then we'll add our starter culture.
Is that Harry's food selection?
They scoot their bed over.
Yeah.
Here's Harley. All right, do you think we should get that big box?
Yeah.
Is it so big?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Both of us would have to drag it along.
Oh my. Watch your feet. There we go. Should we take it to the living room?
Yeah.
All right.
Didn't help carrying it.
Hair. How about right here? Oh,
Heavy.
it is a big box, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's frozen.
Yep. So start up here. Pull it. Oh, you gotta use this part.
Is it frozen?
No, I don't believe it's frozen.
But it's really hard.
Let me put that in. Pull it. Ugh. We did it. Okay, can you go put your scissors on the cook stove?
Yeah. Or in my craft bin.
Okay. What's doing with your shirt? So I heard about Bootstrap Farmer from Jess over at Roots and Refuge Farm, and I really like the look of their products and the fact that it's plastic that is really going to hold up, and the fact that it's BPA food grade, all of that. BPA free food grade. Violet, where are you going? Whoa, what do you think it is?
Another fan.
No, it's not a fan. It does kind of look like a fan there, though. These are seed trays.
Are they all colors?
Wow. See, we can start some seeds in here. This is called a plug tray.
And what's that
Here.
one?
These ones are seed trays too. Okay. Put the black one. That's another plug tray. Oh my goodness, look at all these! We can start so many seeds, huh? Won't that be so cool?
Yeah.
Do you like the colors?
Yeah.
And then I think these these are my grow lights. And then this, oh, how cool. This is called a Sunpad Pro. And so you put the trays on here and it heats them up so the soil stays warm and the seeds will germinate. How cool. Oh, it's even got some little information here. This is going to be so fun. Maybe I'll actually start seeds with success this year.
Right now?
We are going to start some seeds today. Shelby, guess what seeds we're going to start?
The house seeds?
Onion seeds. And you take the little cup things and they go in there. Do you want to do that? All right. And then I'll probably actually use this one to start the onions because they don't need a lot of space. But I don't have like the little cups that go in it, so it would just be soil. But they have the holes at the bottom so you can pop out the plugs.
Come in here, I need this cup. Do you really like it this way?
That is such a tall tower. What do you think?
I think it's so tall.
Look. Oh my goodness. So we will probably start some onion seeds here really soon, maybe today, because I want to start onions from seed this year and they need a long time to grow. So, and then I think I'll save these for when we start like tomatoes and peppers and stuff farther on in the spring. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. I've always started some seeds, and like the very first year in our apartment, I just set it in the windowsill, so I got these like long spindly tomatoes. But I did get tomatoes from those plants, and it did work. So like, you don't have to buy special stuff just to start seeds, but it can definitely help. And so now that we're a few years into gardening and all the things, having this is just gonna be really nice. So that way, this stuff should last for like years to come. And I still have some other stuff in the garage of things I've saved in the past, or like when I buy a plant, I save the little pot. So we'll use that too. But I wanted to get a better setup, and I knew that this company was really nice. It's called the Bootstrap Farmer. And I just wanted to make sure that I had something going forward that was gonna hold up and be nice to use. And because all those other pots and stuff are so brittle, but these are like really nice plastic and we can use them for years to come. So I'm excited about that. And I'm glad that they're like food grade and BPA free and all the things.
Can we get the pot right now?
Soon we'll have to go outside to the garage and fill it up with soil. And then we'll get the soil wet. And then maybe after lunch we'll plant the seeds when Charlotte's napping.
Why?
That way she's not trying to play in the dirt. Inside and soak it. This part out. Just leave it there. Part over. And hold it right there. Water there. Put it in. We're gonna let the soil soak up some of that water. The next part of this, what's turning into a busy morning, huh, Charlotte, is we are going to add the sourdough starter to our sourdough bread. So it's been autolyzing, so it still looks, I don't know, I think it's probably a little too runny. But we'll mix the sourdough starter in, and I will probably go ahead and throw in some more flour. That way I don't end up with a soupy mess, because I'm really good at doing that. Say hi! So my sourdough starter is probably a little bit past prime. Oh, actually it still looks really good. I fed it last night, so I was worried that it would have fallen by now. I can show you. How cool is that? Sourdough is so much fun. Okay, so we need 120 grams See, I feel like my scale's just broken. That should be okay. We're gonna. It says 100-ish, but I think that. Add a little more. I'm definitely gonna add some flour though. It's gonna be too wet. Okay, we'll go with that. Throw that back on. We will just throw in the rest of this whole wheat flour. I sifted it once. And we'll throw in another 1/3 cup of that. You can see it's already kind of doing its thing. This is just the messy and sticky part. What, Charlotte? Do you want a little flour to play in? I have a jar of play flour. Do you want to play in some flour? What do you think? You get your bowls from earlier? And your scoop? And put a little in there. So you've got to kind of mix in the sourdough starter, get it going. Just a rough mix. I'm not looking for the gluten to develop at this point yet, but I do want to see it be a little less soupy here. So I'm going to try to probably add even more flour here yet. I've made many kind of flat, dense loaves in my life. I have gotten, like, I've improved the last couple of months, it feels like. I made sourdough starter for supper one time. We were meeting friends for supper and they made a soup and she's like, can you bring some sourdough bread? Because that sounds really good. It's like, I can. And it actually was my best loaf ever. Like, I haven't been able to top that one yet. So, just gonna add a little more. Just trial and error. You gotta bake a lot of bad bread first in life before you get to the good stuff. Just because you're learning, you know, what it's supposed to look like and feel like, and you gotta learn kind of how different flours have different protein levels and so they behave differently. So I've found a flour I really like now. Okay, my camera died. So I got that to a point where it's not so soupy anymore. I'll show you guys when I do the next stretch and fold. But we'll let that sit for the next 15-30 minutes. And I'll probably do some dishes. And we'll let the soil soak up some of the water. And so after we clean up, I probably have 20 more minutes or so before I need to check the yogurt. So we're letting that milk cool back down. And then we'll add a 1/4 cup of yogurt starter culture. It can just be yogurt that you buy from the store and it'll inoculate that. Once you add the yogurt, you stick it back in the Instant Pot and select the yogurt setting. And I usually put if I start at midday or whatever, I want it to be done before I'm going to bed. So I usually will set it longer than I need to. And then at the end of the day, I'll just turn it off. It just has to go at least 8 hours. The longer you ferment it, so, 10, 12 hours, the more sour it will become and the longer shelf life it will have in your fridge. So, all right, we'll let that mess continue to happen and we'll clean up the other messes. All right, so I have no voice today for some reason, so I'm sorry I sound all raspy. So first thing we need to do now, the girls are eating lunch and I need to stretch and fold the dough. So I wanted to show you what it looks like. It's actually looking really good. As you can see here, we're actually already getting some bubbling action. So get it to focus. Getting some bubble action right there. Already got a bubble on the top too. So I added quite a bit more flour just to make sure it would be less soupy. Teaspoon. So sprinkle that on top. I guess we'll just go ahead and do both. And we'll do a smidge. Okay. The salt's really important because that's what gives it the flavor and the taste and everything. So don't forget the salt. I have. Make it into breadcrumbs, but it works. So a good trick to make sure the dough doesn't stick to your hands a bunch is to actually wet it. So I'm just going to kind of poke this salt in. It'll get mixed in pretty well while we knead the dough. So I'm going to stretch and fold it. There are a couple different methods, and this is kind of like the typical one you'll see. But there's another one I really like, especially if it's a little extra wet or just sticky or something, and I'll show you that one too. If you feel it start to kind of stick to you again, just wet your hands and it'll be good. So this is developing the gluten and giving the dough some structure and strength. You can feel it start to change. You can tell now it's wanting to pull away less. It's really cool. So, and then like the other method, and this one I learned from Turner Farm. You just kind of like pick it all up and then like lay it over on itself. Pick it all up, let it jiggle down, lay it over on itself. So the next thing we need to do is check the temperature on our yogurt. Oh, it's over here. Come supper. Okay. So this is actually cooled down past what I need it to be. It needs to be like over here, which is just fine. So I've had no problems if it cools a little below. Then it always seems to get like a little film on it. So I just kind of lift that out with my whisk. All that good. Milk goes back in the Instant Pot. And then this is about a 1/4 cup of yogurt that I saved from a previous batch. So I'm just going to add that now to my cooled down milk. And see, it's pretty thick yogurt. Okay, and give that a stir. And then I'm actually gonna wash the lid real quick just to, again, make sure you don't have any like residues from previous foods that you've cooked. And I'm gonna take out the rubber gasket seal. You don't need it for making yogurt, and that harbors a lot of the smells and taste and can make your yogurt taste beefy or like other food if you leave it in there. So that's just a safe way to do it. It's a good way just to make sure you don't have any weird tastes, and I've always had great luck with it. So I'm gonna wash that real quick and then we'll put it on. Yogurt, and it's 11 o'clock now. We'll set it for 11 hours, and then that'll get done at like 10:30 tonight, and it'll be good.
And then just let it soak for like a minute. And then plant the seeds and try this, press this and see what it can do.
Whoa. Do you want to do it together? Let me like help you get some water up. There it goes. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, is it hard to press? Do you want to do a little pour?
Yeah.
You gotta just do it like in the middle. Go slow. All over. Do you want to do the spray? So you want to get this soil nice and moist, huh?
I did it.
You did it! Good job. Keep going. So we're going to take the pencil, or the crayon here, and we're gonna poke holes. You want me to show you?
Like this? No, this
With a
one.
pointy end, because we don't need a big hole. We're just gonna poke a hole like that.
Okay, is
Can
that,
you do that?
with that ends this
Yep,
one.
it's gonna get dirty and we'll wash it at the end.
I really like this one.
You're gonna try it with that end?
Yeah, this will make a better
okay.
hole.
How'd that work?
Good.
Okay.
Points.
Not too deep, just a little deep. Like just far enough to the end right there. There you go.
So, Mommy's poking holes is 3, 6, 7.
Okay, so for our seeds, we have a couple different ones. We have yellow sweet Spanish onion from Guernsey's. And then we've got a clear dawn onion from Nature and Nurture Seeds. And then these are some onion seeds I saved from last season that went to seed. So we're gonna try these out. And I guess I should probably label somehow. So I'll probably forget, but it'll be on here. You can take from Mama's hand. Okay, so there are some seeds, and I want you to put them in the holes in these spots over here.
There.
Okay, do the next one.
So, right here.
Right there. Yeah.
I did this. I did these.
You did the bottom two? I think you did. Okay, now do this one, and that one.
Can I do that? Here.
There you go.
Go right here.
No, this row over here. You have to listen. All directions.
I put 2.
Okay, so the first 4 rows we did the clear dawn, and then after that we did my seeds that I saved from my other plants, and then 3 rows after that we did yellow Spanish onion, and then I ran out of those, so then I did another row of the seeds I saved. So we'll see how those do. So our next thing, yeah, it's gonna get warm. Next thing, she plugged the warm mat in. Next thing is we are going to add just a little bit more water on top. Some of them are a little dry yet. And then we'll get it cleaned up. And you can lay like plastic wrap over the top of it, I've seen, just to help contain all that moisture. So we'll see. Maybe we'll do that.
Right here? Right here?
Sure. You want? And then, yep, I'm going to stretch and fold. And be gentle with the dough. Yeah, good job. It's already sticking to you. You don't need to like put your whole palm on it, huh? Just your fingertips. You do it? Okay, so remember you go down, and then you kind of like pick it up. Hold it with me. Stretch, and fold. Wait, rotate it. Okay. Grab right here. Stretch up, 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 up. And
That was too easy.
you gonna do it again? Yeah, don't put holes in it. You don't want to put holes in it. You want it to stay all together. Are you done? Okay.
Can we fill this one?
You want to play with some water? Okay. Should I scoot your chair over? Yeah, you can turn it on. I think we might have a good loaf of bread again, shall we? It's not soupy this time, so that's good. Alright, so I need to do a final stretch and fold on my dough real quick. And Charlotte's actually napping, and David and Shelby just left a few minutes ago to go and look at a round baler, which is pretty exciting. Hopefully it's a good fit. Hopefully we can get it for the right price. Buying a round baler is something that David and I have talked about doing for quite a while. It's always been kind of in the plan. But the last 3 years, has it been 3 years, 4 years? Somewhere in there. We've just had this small square baler that he picked up for like $500. And He's put a lot of work into it. We have like 2 extra of that we bought as parts failures because it just breaks because it's extremely old, which is fine. Like, it has more than earned its keep now, and it's been able to make us some money where we can afford to think about buying a piece of better equipment, which is exciting. But David and I got to sit down the other week, start of January, and just kind of like talk about, okay, where are things going with the farm and where are we at and what do we need to buy or plan or do? Because winter is kind of like the time of like all the money's just come in from cows and crops and things, and you're looking forward to the next season and you're like, okay, where are we allocating resources to? Where are we expanding? What are we going to do? You know, kind of not necessarily plan out the year, but in a way, just reevaluate and see where we're headed. I think I need to put this in a bigger bowl. And so we have talked about buying a round baler for quite some time. So let's do this one. And so that's the plan, which will be really nice because small squares while having 2 kids is hard. Because like when we say that we do all of our own hay, we do. And we do it just David and I. We don't have any extra help. No one else is throwing bales but us. And so it was difficult the last year, but we got it done. Like, Shelby did great with hay season, and Charlotte did. She held her own, but it's definitely a lot of work, mainly on David. I mean, I help as much as I can, but again, holding a baby, you can only pick up bales if they're not super heavy. So we made it work. All right, let me show you my dough. So this is looking really good. So we've got, see how it's not like falling into the edges or anything? We got some bubbles in there. Can't see them yet. So now I think I'm gonna go ahead and let this do its bulk rise. I don't think I'll stretch it again. So I will probably put this in the dining room because it's a little warmer in there with our cook stove, or with our wood burner. I'll probably put it on the cook stove. We have a lot of stoves. So I will let this do its bulk rise over here and put it in the fridge later this evening. Now I'm going to sit over here by the warmth and chat. So he is hopefully going to buy a round baler, and like I said, we've been talking about it, planning for it, thinking about what kind of round baler we want. And so he's done all the research. I just go along with it and say yes or no pretty much. But I'm excited about it because with 2 kids, it is hard to do small squares as a 2-man operation. So it's definitely doable, and we will do small squares still because the market for that is really good. It's a lot easier to sell. It's easy to sell small squares. I assume it's pretty easy to sell the rounds too, but it's harder for us to move rounds around. So our hay fields are kind of all spread out around town, which is really cool that we've been able to pick up so many different various plots. And so ones that are farther away from the house would be really hard to round bale because the only thing we have to move the round bales is the tractor. So you can't load the trailer full and take it home because then you can't get them off. So thinking about that, but we have some exciting news that we will get to share with you guys soon. That is a really ironic story. And so very excited. We have some new land coming into our use here this year. And so it's going to be a really cool opportunity, and hopefully we'll get to do some rounds there. And yeah, so that will be coming soon. David and I will have to sit down and talk just to update you. And yeah, so we got our seeds started today, which is exciting. I should probably go put plastic wrap on that just to help hold in some moisture, so I might do that. And so yeah, tonight I'll try to remember to pull off camera and show you what the dough looks like before I put it in the fridge. I've got a chicken in the oven. Dogs are playing outside. Got a chicken in the oven for supper tonight. I'll probably turn that into a chicken pot pie, so I might go make some pie crust now. usually for pie crust, they'll tell you to wrap it in plastic wrap, but I find that you can pretty much just stick it in one of these freezer containers and just kind of smush it in here a little bit. And it works just fine. So we'll stick this in the fridge for a little bit. All right, so Charlotte and I just came back in from outside and she's having a little snack. Some of our canned apples from the fall and some cheese. And then I am getting ready to make up a chicken pot pie. So I'm using some spaghetti squash that we still have from the garden. Potatoes, we just finished up our homegrown potatoes last week. So this is the very first bag of potatoes I bought from the store. And then we'll do some celery, carrots, and some cabbage in it. And then I cooked a whole chicken a few hours ago. So chicken pot pie is a really easy one to just use up whatever you've got on hand and throw a ton of veggies in it. So that's what we're gonna do. Pan smoking, it's ready to start cooking. So I'll roast this in the oven and then scrape them out. Yogurt's still going, and David actually just got home with the new addition to the farm. What do you think, Charlotte? We got a round baler. We got a round baler. How many bales would it be?
2,000 bales, 1,500.
If we small squared it? Of just the rye?
Yeah.
Wow. So you're gonna round bale the rye off the field for the cows?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. And that alone, it's worth it. And then you just have to make some profit off of the alfalfa field and it'll pay for itself?
Yeah. And I mean, if we get the alfalfa, we'll also want a small square of that.
Okay.
So that's
For all the rounds? For every cutting or?
probably.
Okay.
Because that's going to be easiest to like eat out in moderation.
That's true.
And you're going to get your highest dollar value for it.
Okay.
And I want to leave it to like, if something happens and the small square baler is great, it still gives you an option to round it.
Yeah.
Well, knowing that you have first cutting or second cutting already squared.
Okay. Makes sense.
You getting ready, Shelves?
My celery is really floppy.
Mm-hmm. A little old.
Should probably use up most of it.
What's in there? I will need some help.
Unloading? Okay. Let me get all this sauteing real quick, and then I'll be out.
I can help you. I couldn't my gloves all.
Nope, it's Shelby. Mommy will bring you.
Okay, so I will let that saute on low, and Charlotte and I have got to get dressed back up in all of our warm clothes to go outside and help David.
Hi guys, it's morning. It's getting dark. So, my ears like to hold on again.
Did you already break something?
No.
I'm a little flat, I guess, maybe, I assume. You're cold? Should we get your other coat and your hat?
to drop the pin in the hitch.
Okay.
And then I'll lift it up with the 3-point and you just pull the hitch off. Because I got the hitch in the 3-point, that adjustable one.
Okay. Sure, go for it.
Wait, whoosh, whoosh.
I'll work on shredding the spaghetti squash.
I didn't scoot very far. You scoot me.
Maybe further this way. Yeah.
Some dough for me? Oh, thank you.
Okay. Where did our pie pan go? It was over here. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, everyone is in bed now. We've had our supper. It was delicious. And so now my dough is ready and I've got to get that shaped. And honestly, I'm kind of wondering if we should make it too. But we could just make it into a giant loaf. So it looks good. Look at all those bubbles. We are going to shape this and then let it sit out on the counter for a little bit. That way it can get a nice little film on it before we throw it into a bowl with flour sack towel. So let's take care of that. Ideally, oh my gosh, this cutting board really could be too small, but I am totally out of space in there. There's all sorts of stuff all over the place. Okay, let's attempt this. We're going to throw some flour on there. Not much, because you want a little bit of ability to make some surface tension, but you also don't want it to stick. So let's see. You guys probably can't see it. Beautiful. It's a little sticky though. I might actually add some more flour. Oh, this is better to do on the countertop, but we're gonna make it work. Oh, I really should have done this on the countertop. Oh, but I want to get this done first. Oh my gosh, it's giant, guys. Maybe I should steal it. Oh. Okay, not ideal here. Not ideal. Oh, man. This is how life goes sometimes, okay? We just go with it. It's not really supposed to do it this way, but it will work. Gosh, it's hard here. just gonna twist her up. There we go. Oh, this is working. This is working very nicely. There you go. Okay. I'm gonna let it rest like that. All right. Actually looks pretty good. big old bubble got there. Okay, so while that is setting out and getting its film on it before I put it in a Banneton basket that I don't actually have, I just use a bowl and a flour sack towel, I've got to put away some dishes. I've got dishes to clean. I gotta part out the other half of this chicken. Scraps, dishes, dishes, dishes. So that's what I am going to be doing. Chores outside are all done. So yeah, now it's just evening cleanup, taking care of this leftover food, clearing the table, all that stuff. My yogurt is technically done now, but I'm going to leave this going for at least a little while longer. So, and I threw spaghetti squash in our chicken pot pie tonight because I have a bunch of those left from the garden yet, and it was actually really good. So I will keep doing that as long as I have those. So if you haven't tried it, you need to get rid of some spaghetti squash, throw them in your chicken pot pie. And also, that pie crust turned out amazing. I really need to get that recipe up on the blog for you guys at some point. So I might throw it in the description for you, or I might throw it on the blog quick, but I won't have any good pictures for it. So we'll see. Okay, so here is our loaf of sourdough after letting it sit for a while. So it's not sticky on top now here at all. It's got a nice film on it. Got some nice bubbles. It really didn't spread too much at all either, so that's good. Okay, so now I am just going to kind of scoop this thing up from underneath and plop it down into my floured bowl here. Oh man. Well, it works. Alright, there it is. I'm gonna kind of sew this together now. I'm not an expert, guys. Only halfway know what I'm doing. Alright, so we'll go with that. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of flour over the top because sometimes, like, I don't want my towel to stick when I put it over it. Okay, so now I will take this and I will put plastic wrap over the top of it and stick it in the fridge till morning, and I'll have to make sure I get it out of bed early enough to bake this before church. So I will take this to church in the morning with some of our homemade jams. I always try to take something Sunday morning for folks to snack on, so it's fun. And I'm hoping this loaf turns out good. I think it will. From the looks of it, I think it will. And yogurt, I will probably go ahead and get that in the fridge as well. Nearly done with dishes. So there is the yogurt. It looks beautiful. And I actually just stick this in the fridge without anything over top of it. I used to do a paper towel and plastic wrap over it, but as long as you're not afraid of anything like falling into it, you get a lot thicker yogurt. at least from experience. You get a lot thicker yogurt if you don't put anything over it. Probably just because of less of the condensation build up, less liquid going back into it. So, neat trick. All right, so now the only thing left for me to do is finishing dishes. So I'm gonna do that and I'll see you guys in the morning.